global classroom. Never before we've had the opportunity, to meet like this. And it's been wonderful the way we've been meeting Brahmins and at the same time taking so much benefit from the classes of senior brothers and senior sisters. So it's wonderful to meet you all. And first we listen to Baba's Murli today. Today's Baba's Sakar Murli of 18th May. And it's very wonderful in the Murli that Baba is saying that today is the day that you were waiting for. For half the Kalpa, you were remembering the beloved, you wanted to experience him. But now is finally the moment, the Sangam Yuga, where Baba is adorning you with jewels of knowledge, with, everything. And this is the time to just remember one and not get stuck in limited things. Baba is also reminding us today, which he reminds very often, that child, look at every soul and remember that they have unique parts. Their part of 84 births is recorded in their soul. And no matter how many times we listen to that, we still end up judging people. And Baba is saying today, make an effort that when you look at anybody, see them as a detached observer. Remember that everybody is making effort. Remember they all have different journeys, and your sanskars cannot be same. They are going to be different. And you have to help each other to reach that perfect form. It's a very wonderful Murli of 18th May 2020. And the essence for the Murli is, sweet children, you have once again reached your destination. You have now come to know the Creator and creation from the Father. You should therefore have goose pimples of happiness. Question is, why does the Father adorn you children at this time? Answer, because you now have to become fully adorned and go to the land of Vishnu. That is your in-laws' home. After being decorated with this knowledge, you become the emperors and empress of the world. You are now at the confluence age. Baba, as the teacher, is teaching you in order to send you from your parents' home to your in-laws' home. Song is, at last, the day for which we had been waiting has come. Om Shanti. You sweetest, long lost, and now found children heard the song. You children know that you have finally found the beloved whom you have been remembering for half the cycle. This is one relation that Baba is constantly reminding us today in the Murli. You finally found the beloved whom you have been remembering for half the cycle. No one in the world knows that you do devotion for half the cycle. They call out to the Father, the beloved. We are his lovers, and he is our beloved. No one knows this either. The Father says, Ravan has completely degraded everyone's intellect. This applies to the people of Bharat especially. You have forgotten that you were deities. Therefore, your intellects are degraded. To forget one's own religion is a sign of degraded intellect. Only you now know that we people of Bharat were the residents of the heaven. This Bharat was heaven only a short while ago. For 1250 years, it was the golden age. And then, the next 1250 years, it was the kingdom of Rama. At that time, there was limitless happiness. On remembering this happiness, you should have goose pimples. That happiness which was not dependent on anything. That happiness which was beyond the happiness that we receive through sensory pleasures or sexual pleasures, that happiness which is very pure, very blissful. On remembering this happiness, you should have goose pimples. The golden and silver ages have passed. What is the duration of the golden age? No one knows this. How could it possibly be hundreds of years? The Father now comes and explains that Maya has made your intellect so degraded. No one in the world considers himself to have a degraded intellect. You know that yesterday you had a degraded intellect. Baba has now given you enough wisdom to recognize the Creator and to understand the beginning, the middle, and the end of creation. Yesterday we did not know this. Today we do know it. The more you know, the more goose pimples of happiness you will have. We have now once again reached our destination. The Father really did give us the kingdom of heaven, and then we lost it. We have now become impure. The golden age is not considered to be impure. That is the pure world. People say, "O purifier, come." There can't be anyone pure or elevated in Ravan's kingdom. You have now become the children of the highest on high Father. Therefore, you too have become elevated. Just by recognizing Baba, just by knowing Baba, Baba says you too have become elevated. You children now know the Father, but that too is number-wise, according to the effort you make. This is also something very beautiful. We listen to the same wordly, no matter how many years we've been in knowledge. That you know this, that Baba says that we understand Baba number-wise, according to our intellect. The more the intellect becomes pure, the more you understand Baba, the more you understand Murli, the more you understand the depth of his knowledge. Child, wake up early in the morning and ask your heart this. The morning time of nectar is a very good time to sit and churn these things. Baba is a father and our teacher. People say, "O Godfather, O Supreme Father, Supreme Soul." You children now know that you have found the one whom they remember and to whom they call out, "O God." We are once again claiming our unlimited inheritance. Those are your physical fathers. This one is the unlimited Father. Even your physical fathers remember that unlimited Father. Therefore, he is the Father of the fathers, the husbands of all husbands. The people of Bharat say this because I now become the father of all fathers and the husbands of all husbands. I am now your father and you have become my children. You continue to say, "Baba, sweet Baba, I have now come once again to take you to the land of Vishnu, your in-laws' home. This is your father's home, and you will then go to your in-laws' home." You children know that you are being adorned very beautifully. You are now at home with your father. You are also being educated. Having been adorned with this knowledge, you will then become the emperors and empress of the world. You have come here in order to become the masters of the world. And that is why Baba said that now you have to first become the master of the self to become the master of the world. When it was the golden age, you people of Bharat were the masters of the world. You won't say that you are the masters of the world now. You know that at present, the masters of Bharat belong to the Iron Age, whereas you belong to the Confluence Age. Then in the Golden Age, you will be the masters of the whole world. these things should enter the intellects of your children. Because Baba was saying that your intellect has become degraded. And that's the first thing he purifies. And just by listening morely daily, this intellect becomes very pure. Baba says these things should enter the intellect of your children. You know that the one who gives you the kingdom of the world has now come. He has now come at this confluence age. Only the Father, no human being can be called the bestower of knowledge, because the Father has the knowledge with which he bestows salvation to the whole world. Everything, including nature, is given salvation. Human beings have no knowledge of salvation. The whole world, including nature, is now Tamopradhan. Everyone who resides here is also Tamopradhan. The new world is called the Golden Age. Deities used to live there. Then Ravan defeated them. The Father has now come once again. You children say that you're going to Bap Dada. The Father gives you your inheritance of the kingdom of heaven through this Dada, Sama Baba. The Father will give you the kingdom of heaven. What else would he give? The time and again Baba is taking us to heaven, the inheritance. At least this should enter the intellects of your children. However, Maya makes you forget this. She doesn't allow you to have constant happiness. I remember in one of Avyakt Murli Baba said, the best definition of the Maya is nothing but waste thoughts. And then you have to check that waste thought, what is the seed, whether it's ego, whether it's lust, whether it's greed, what is the vice. But he said, Maya is nothing but it's waste thoughts. And the moment you have waste thoughts, then you can't think about heaven, you can't experience that constant happiness. Maya makes you forget this. She doesn't allow you to have constant happiness. Those who study well and also teach well will claim a high status. Liberation in life in a second has been remembered. You just have to recognize him once. There is one Father of all souls, and that Father of all souls has come now. However, not everyone will be able to meet him. That would be impossible. The Father comes to teach you. All of you are teachers. This is called the Gita Pathshala, that is the study place. These words are common. They say that Krishna spoke the Gita. However, this is not Krishna's Pathshala. In fact, the Krishna soul is also studying here. Does anyone study or teach in a Gita Pathshala in the Golden Age? Krishna exists in the Golden Age and he takes 84 births. No one's body can be identical to another. According to the drama plan, each soul has a part of 84 births recorded in him. 1 second cannot be identical to the next. You play your parts for 5,000 years. Just in this moment, again, we have to come into this awareness. Each soul has a part of 84 births recorded in him. And even now, just see everybody playing their part as a detached observer. We have to kind of remind ourselves again and again that everything is accurate. Everyone, whatever part they are playing is perfect, is accurate. I remember a story while reading this one time, one of the dadis in the initial days of tapasya had to go through a lot of bondage and a lot of suffering, a lot of bondage from her own family. They in fact beat her, put her in chains and, locked her in room. But she had a lot of love for Baba, continued coming daily to Om Mandli. And it was after a very long time, I think after 2 or 3 years, that those same people, her parents and her family, who had given her a lot of suffering, realized that this knowledge is true. And after 2, 3 years, they also came to knowledge. And when they were meeting Baba, they had a lot of tears of repentance and they felt very guilty. And they told Baba, looking at Baba, Baba, I mean, how do we apologize? We didn't recognize you. And this girl, our daughter, was listening to the most elevated versions. We created so much obstacles for her. And Baba looked at them so compassionately, so sweetly, with so much love in his eyes. And he just said, don't worry, you were just playing your part according to drama. That was what Baba said, that you were just playing your part according to drama. That was what your part was in the drama. That it's not your fault. And we all understand that what part they played was not right. And of course, every action has equal and opposite reaction. But Baba was so detached and Baba played his part so well that Baba did not judge the souls. And this is where we have to realize that even when things are not right, even when we can see people not playing their part really well, just to be detached and being very, very compassionate and understanding that maybe this is their part and trying to learn what is there for me to learn from this situation and move forward. So this is something which really touched me today, where Baba said again, child, each soul has a part of 84 births recorded in him. 1 second cannot be identical to the next. You play your part for 5,000 years. The part you perform 1 second cannot be identical to your part in the next second. This is a matter of great understanding. This is drama. This is one time they asked Mama, what do you think is the truth? And Mama said, drama. Child, drama is the truth. Your paths continue to repeat. All the scriptures belong to the path of devotion. Devotion lasts for half a cycle. Then I come and grant everyone salvation. You know that you were given salvation 5,000 years ago and that you used to rule there. There was no mention of sorrow. Now there is nothing but sorrow. It is called the land of sorrow. There are the lands of peace, happiness, and sorrow. I come and show you, people of Bharat, the path to the land of happiness. I have to come every cycle. I have come many times before, and I will continue to come. There can be no end to this. While going around the whole cycle, you enter the land of sorrow, and then I have to come. You now remember the cycle of your 84 births. The Father is called the Creator. This doesn't mean that He creates the drama. To be the Creator means that He comes at this time and creates the golden age. I come and teach those who had the kingdom in the golden age and then lost it. I adopt you children. You are my children. Are you not? It isn't a sage or a holy man teaching you. Only the one Father whom everyone remembers is teaching you. The one whom they remember would definitely come here at some point. No one understands why they remember him. So the purifier Father definitely comes. They wouldn't say to Christ, come again. People think that the soul has become merged, and so there is no question of him coming back. Nevertheless, it is still the purifier whom they remember. Give us souls the inheritance once again. You children are now aware that Baba has come. We're still looking for God, and we are aware that He has come. Not only aware, but we're spending a time of Sangam Yoga in His company. You children are now aware that Baba has come. He comes to establish the new world. Other founders of religions will come at their own time, at the time of Raju and Tamu. They don't come in Satyuga and Treta, they come in Dwapar. So they come at the time of Raju and Tamu. You children know that you are now becoming master knowledgeful. Only the one Father teaches you and makes you into the masters of the world. He himself does not become that. That is why he is called the altruistic server. People say that they don't want any reward for what they do, that they are serving altruistically. However, that is not so. They take their next birth according to the sanskars they have taken with them. They will definitely receive the fruit of their karma. Even in this birth, if they do it very unconditionally, that they don't want any name or recognition, and they do it in a very incognito manner. At the same time, Baba said, okay, even if their feelings and intentions were very pure, they will get the fruits in next birth. They definitely receive the fruit of their karma. Sannyasis also take rebirth to householders, and then according to their sanskars, they go into the religion of renunciation. In the same way, Baba gives the example of soldiers. They quote the Gita where it says, if you die on the battlefield, you go to heaven. However, there has to be a time for heaven. They say that the duration of heaven is hundreds of thousands of years. You children now understand what the Father tells you and what is written in the Gita. So this constant remembrance that the only thing that we take with us is a sanskar. And this is the time to transform those sanskars, to once again come back into the awareness of our original sanskars and practice them so that we really become that. They say that the versions of God say, I am omnipresent. The Father says, how could I insult myself by saying I am omnipresent? How could I be in the cats and dogs? You call me the ocean of knowledge. Therefore, how could I call myself those things? It is such a lie. No one has any knowledge. Because sannyasis are pure, people have so much regard for them. Not the thing. The more pure we become, one way to find out is, Baba said, there's always so much regard for purity. Because sannyasis are pure, people have so much regard for them, then whether it's sannyasis or deities or angels. There are no gurus in the golden age. Here a bride is told that a bridegroom is a guru and a god, and that she must not adopt any other guru. That explanation was for when the devotion was first Satopradhan. There are no gurus in the golden age. Even at the beginning of devotion, there are no gurus. The husband is considered to be everything. So they don't take a guru. You now understand these things. Some people become afraid just hearing the name of Brahma Kumar and Kumaris. And we can understand, it's common belief that if you go there, they will make you brother and sister. And that fear, with the name is still there. But I think we've come a long way. There was a time when people would say that when you go to Brahma Kumaris, there would be conflict in the family. And today we have come a long way where people say, if there is a conflict in a family, go to them and there will be harmony in the family. Yes, times have changed. And Baba is saying that some people just become afraid on hearing the name Brahma Kumar and Kumaris because they think that we make everyone into brothers and sisters. Oh, but it is good to become a child of Prajapita Brahma. Only BKs claim the inheritance of heaven. You are now claiming that. You have now become Brahma Kumar and Kumaris. Husband and wife both say that they are brother and sisters. And this is how the consciousness of bodies, this is how the consciousness of bodies and the odor of vices are removed. How could we, brothers and sisters, children of one Father, indulge in vice? That would be a very big sin. This is a tactic in the drama to enable you to remain pure. This is a tactic, the vision. The moment the vision changes, the moment you see the other person as a soul, it helps you to remain pure. And also I feel that when you connect to Baba, There's always joy in playing with stones also. And there's always joy when you get happiness from temporary things. But the moment you start getting diamonds, stones fall off. The moment you experience that bliss from Baba, the super sensuous joy, it's very easy then to get rid of, um, the limited happiness. How could we, brothers and sisters, children of one Father, indulge in vice? That would be a very big sin. This is a tactic in the drama to enable you to remain pure. Sannyasis belong to the path of isolation, whereas you belong to the family path. They don't want to see anybody also because they think if we see somebody, we'll get attracted. But Baba says you see everybody, but you see them as souls. You don't see them as roles or bodies or any other label, but you just see them as souls. You now have to stop following the customs and systems of this dirty world and forget this world. You used to be the masters of heaven when Ravan made you so dirty. Baba has also told you what to say when people ask how they can accept that they have taken 84 births. It is something good that we are telling you, that you have taken 84 births. If they haven't taken 84 births, they will not remain here. You can then understand that they don't belong to the deity religion, and then they cannot come to heaven. They would attain a low status among the subjects. Among the subjects too, there is high status and low status. These things are not mentioned in the scriptures. God comes and establishes the kingdom. Shri Krishna was the master of Vaikuntha paradise. It is the Father who establishes that paradise. The Father speaks the Gita, through which we attain a status. Then you will not study this knowledge of the Gita there because you will have received salvation. The more effort you make now, the higher the status you will claim there. You will continue to make exactly the same effort as you did in the previous cycle. But you have to observe everything in a detached way. Detached and loving, not withdrawing. There's always a difference between withdrawing and being detached. Detached is when you're there with the family, with the people, you're there. The sanskars are not influencing you, you're not getting disturbed, you're radiating the right vibration to them. When you withdraw, it's like you're already affected by what they're saying or their sanskar or their behavior or their nature, and then you want to withdraw. So withdrawing it's very different. It's that you've been influenced by that. But detached is that nothing can influence you. You have to observe the teacher who taught you, and you have to become cleverer than him or her. There is a big margin. You have to make effort to become the highest on high. The main thing is to become Sato Pradhan from Tamo Pradhan. These matters have to be understood. Stay at home with your families and remember the Father. You will then become pure. Here everyone is impure and there is nothing but sorrow. No one knows when it was the kingdom of happiness. At the time of sorrow, they will call out, "Oh God, oh Rama, why did you cause us this sorrow?" However, God does not cause sorrow for anyone. This was also such an aha moment for all of us because every time we experienced sorrow, we thought it was Him and we begged Him to take our sorrow away. But now we know that it's the settlement of our own karma. And in these times, the more we are connected to Baba, the more power we receive from Him to kind of face those challenges. Sometimes we would be angry with Him in those moments when we needed Him the most because we thought He was giving us this sorrow. But now we realize, that Baba is so compassionate that we have committed all these wrong things under the influence of vices. But He says, just put a full stop, hold my hand, stay combined with me. I will give you the power to settle all of this. Just be with me. So God does not cause sorrow for anyone. It is Ravan that causes sorrow. It's our own vices that causes sorrow. You now know that there will not be any other religion in your kingdom. All other religions come later. Wherever you go, you take this study with you. You have received the aim of Manmanabhav. Remember the Father. We are claiming the inheritance of heaven from the Father. Are you not able to remember even this much? This remembrance must remain firm because your final thoughts leads you to your destination. Acha, to the sweetest, beloved, long lost and now found children, love, remembrance, and good morning from the mother, the father, Bap Dada. The spiritual father says namaste to the spiritual children. The spiritual children says namaste to the spiritual father. Essence for Dharma. First point is, wake up in the early hours of nectar and think about how Baba is a father and also a teacher. Baba has now come to adorn us with jewels of knowledge. He is the father of all fathers and the husband of all husbands. Have such thoughts and experience unlimited happiness. Second point is, observe each one's efforts as a detached observer. Not only everyone's part, but today Baba is saying observe each one's effort as a detached observer, because we don't know their journey. Sometimes we can look at somebody and say, oh, they've been on this path of knowledge for 10 years, 20 years, and still they're like this. But we don't know till where the soul had reached. The battery had nearly become nil, and they probably have come very far. But because we still see the weaknesses, we think, how can they behave like this? The most important thing right now is to be compassionate, to remember that we don't know their story. In fact, they also don't know their story. Half the time, they also don't know why they behave in such a manner. We also sometimes feel, we shouldn't have said this, or we shouldn't have thought this, we shouldn't have felt this. But because we are also under the influence of the karmic account of so many births, that things happen. And at all times, I think this is the time to keep our feelings very, very pure for everyone. Let there be no memories of anybody's actions or anything here. The chit, the memory track has to be very, very clean. Only then I think we can have good remembrance and we can experience God's love. So observe each one's effort as a detached observer. There is still a margin for making effort to claim a high status. Therefore, change from Tamo Pradhan to Sato Pradhan. Blessing. May you become a constantly powerful soul who becomes powerful by eating the practical and instant fruit of the confluence age. May you become a constantly powerful soul who becomes powerful by eating the practical and instant fruit of the confluence age. The souls who become instruments for unlimited service at the confluence age receive power as the instant fruit of their becoming instruments. The practical and instant fruit is the fruit of this elevated age. Powerful souls who eat such fruit easily gain victory over any adverse situation that comes to them. Because of being with the Almighty Father, they are easily liberated from all waste. They even gain victory over a situation as poisonous as a snake. This is why, as a memorial, Shri Krishna has been shown dancing on a snake. So yeah, there is the fruit of the heaven, but at the same time there is this fruit of confluence age where we experience so much power that no matter what the adverse situation is, we're able to face it. Baba always says that storms will come. Baba never says that storm can come. Baba knows that as the time will pass, he says storms will come. But at the same time, he says if you're combined with me, no matter what the adverse situation is, you'll be able to pass it. Slogan. Let the past be the past by passing with honors and always stay close to the Father. So there's this three pass in Hindi. So the last one is pass in Hindi is to be close. So let past be past by passing with honor and always stay close to the Father. Om Shanti. So this is Baba's Murli for today. Very wonderful Murli. And when I was reading this Murli, I was thinking, we've been talking to a lot of Brahmins also, and I think one thing which has been very common in different parts of the country is that even though the whole country is going through an adverse situation, I don't know, you can share your thoughts later with me, but everybody feels that this is a blessing in disguise for Brahmins. Even though there are some challenges, everybody is kind of also enjoying the lockdown period and is feeling that their chart of remembrance has really increased. And I think we feel so fortunate that we could recognize Baba much in advance and were prepared, somewhat prepared for such kind of scenes. When the world is dealing with so much fear and anxiety, we are not surprised or shocked. We knew that, times of uncertainty and something or the other will happen. And rather, all of us are using this time in a very, very worthwhile way. So yes, this is this great fortune. And I was also thinking that, all Brahmins always get this time where they can really increase their purushart. Dadis definitely got those 14 years. Those 14 years were pretty much like this if you read the Yagya stories. They were all inside the Yagya. And in Dadi's lot of times said that it was not that they were totally free. There were a lot of household chores that they were doing, a lot of Yagya Seva that they were doing. And similarly, this is a similar period for us that we're doing a lot of Karmana Seva, a lot of household chores. But at the same time, there was not other seva with, planning and conference and those kind of seva. So once they were done with their normal routine seva, they would sit in Baba's remembrance. And that was a part of remembrance, a lot of tapasya, a lot of practice of soul consciousness. Even though knowledge was not very clear, but there was a lot of practice of I am a soul and remembering Baba that made this stage very, very unshakable. So all the Dadis got that time. I also remember Dadi Janki saying in one class that she told Baba that, Baba, I want some time, like 40 days, please give me 40 days. I think 40 days to be exact, where she said, I just want to sit and do tapasya. And Baba allowed her and she said, okay, you can take these 40 days and do tapasya. Another instance that I was remembering was of Jayanti when she said once that when she was in London and the service had not started, almost a part of 2 years, and she said the grounds were very fertile, no seva was happening, she was knocking many doors. But that was also the time when she did a lot of tapasya and she spent a lot of time in Baba's remembrance, many, many hours. And why I'm sharing all these instances was that the more the soul spent time in Baba's remembrance, one thing which was very common that they all shared was that they were all becoming very, very independent, in the sense they were not dependent on anything for their stage. To an extent, they were not even dependent on seva, they were not dependent on family. Gentlemen used to say that initially in London there was no family, there was no center. So it was just one Baba, none other. And when we have that stage where we're only dependent on one Baba, because if you look at the world, they're sustaining themselves with so many dependencies. Even yesterday's Murli, Davya's Murli, Baba said even they experience happiness, but it is dependent on so many things, whether it's achievement, whether it is some form of object, recognition, some desire that is fulfilled. Wherever there is dependency, there is also fear. There's also fear of losing that thing. Dependency always converts into that attachment, and then there is that fear. And some of the common dependencies that we see today is to get that happiness is one of them very common is shopping. A lot of people become shopaholics because that gives them a lot of happiness. They buy things and that helps them. They use that as a stimulus to create, I won't say elevated thoughts, but let's say positive thoughts for some time, and they experience that high. So shopping is that one-time big dependency. Then for some are shopaholics, the others are workaholics. Every time they achieve something, they achieve a target or anything that they have set their mind on, they achieve a goal. So they also get a high. So there's shopaholics, there are workaholics, the other ones are alcoholics. Alcohol, substance is a very big dependency. Food, it's very subtle, but even food. And in this period of lockdown, all their dependencies have been taken away, if you see. All these dependencies where they were getting their doses of happiness is not available to them and is not easily available to them. And thus they can feel so much anxiety, loneliness, insecurity, because then these things are not easily available. And for us, for a very long time, Baba very slowly and gradually helps us to connect to him. One Baba, none other. Take everything from Baba. And without making any effort, those dependencies, we don't even realize that we're not dependent on them anymore. Most of the Brahmins share their experience that, just by coming to class daily, just practicing meditation daily, their expenses reduce because now they're only buying those things when they need them. It's not for happiness, it's not for contentment. And somewhere because there's so much discontentment inside, uh, before coming to knowledge, there's so much discontentment, there's so much emptiness that you're looking for pleasure in these things. And discontentment, then you use a stimulus to get pleasure. And then after a while, it just becomes a need. You can't live without it. And then need will then gradually convert into a habit. You want it. It's a habit, whether it's alcohol or anything. And then that habit turns into addiction. And then that addiction becomes a dependency. So something that started from discontentment because you were empty and you wanted to take pleasure, finally ends into more discontentment because you're just becoming weaker and weaker and becoming more slave to all these things. And Baba gives us that feeling of true freedom, where the moment we connect to Baba, we start experiencing all the treasures and we get rid of all these dependencies. So even reading yesterday's Murli and looking at the state of the world, I was feeling we're so fortunate that we're so not dependent on these things, and we're very comfortable even in the period of lockdown and using this time very wisely to actually remember Baba and elevate our stage. And also with remembrance, Baba so many times in the Murli says that the more you remember me, your sins will get absolved. This is the time of settlement. And a couple of years back, when we come to Baba's knowledge, we do experience sort of Baba's love, but intellect is also working and you're looking for logic in everything. And I used to wonder that when we have done so much wrong in 63 births, then the logic says that, okay, every action has equal and opposite reaction. Then everything will come in front of us. But yes, when we are combined with Baba and we take Baba's power, it'll be easy for us to settle that. But just thinking that, we'll just sit in Baba's remembrance and everything will get settled would not make much sense to me, I thought this is not logical. We do everything wrong and then we just sit in remembrance and it will get settled. They're two different things. One is you just sit in remembrance and it's getting settled. And the other is that it will come to you, the reaction will come to you, and you with the Baba's power will settle it. That means there will be no suffering. So there was this confusion, and I thought I went to Jentiben and I spoke to her, and she said something very nice that has stayed with me. And she said, it's not that every action will have equal and opposite reaction, because we don't have so much time to settle it that way. It is really that when we sit in Baba's remembrance, a lot of karma gets settled in one go. And then I said, how is that possible? And she gave me a very beautiful example. She said, today we are doing a lot of, we're experimenting with yoga a lot, even yogic kheti, a lot of farming is done with yoga. And she said in those days, they had just started experimenting yoga power on farming. And they would bring these very nice long vegetables in front of Baba and say, Baba, without any fertilizers and without any, all these things that they use, they said, just with the power of yoga, those vegetables would be really big and really nice. And she said, see how with the power of yoga, when you're using that yoga on plants and seeds, they are growing manifold. If they grew to this much size, then they were going 3 times bigger. And it was such a surprise for everybody. They were sweet, they were growing so big. And the same way she said that with the power of yoga, the account is also settled manifold. That is the power of yoga. So when you sit with Baba, a lot is getting settled. And then I realized that this is such a powerful time, both with science and silence, if you realize, that they both together are helping us to reduce our suffering. Even with science, if you see, a couple of days back, I was sitting with this person, and it's a wonderful story that this person has been drinking for a long time. And for a very long time, his family has been telling him that, you have to stop drinking, it's going to damage your liver. The doctors have been telling him, and this has been going for many, many years, almost like 30, 35 years. And he listens to them, but, it's not easy to give up a habit or a sanskar. So he goes back to alcohol and all this. And finally, he reached a stage where, the liver is really damaged, and doctor said that, you need a liver transplant. And it was very amazing to see that those doctors who had been telling him for 30, 40 years were not upset with him, were not angry with him, but were very compassionate and said, it's okay. New technologies have come, science have developed, medical science have developed. We'll do an operation and things will be fine. And it's amazing that so much wrong of 30, 40 years, but he went through a surgery and he came out fine. And, there was no suffering. So even science is reducing the physical suffering, even when we are doing wrong. Similarly, even silence. We did wrong under the influence of ISIS for 63 births. But Baba said, if you remember me, there will be no suffering. You will have to settle the account, but there will be no suffering. So much suffering can happen if we start to settle it. But under the canopy of his protection, with his love, the most important thing is there is no suffering, there's no guilt, there's no disheartenment, and we get released. And the only way to find out is, like how we sit with Baba and it's like we're under his laser beam. It's this laser beam. And that time we don't realize what's happening. Just like how you have laser operations these days, you have an eye laser operation and you just sit in front of the doctor with complete concentration and some light flickers. There's no pain. There's absolutely no pain. It doesn't take much time. But how do you know if anything has changed? It's only when you come out of the surgery and your vision has improved. Only when your vision has improved, do you know that the operation was successful. And that is what I was realizing, that when we sit with Baba, everybody has a wonderful experience. We experience so much happiness, so much peace. But we only know later, during the day, during the weeks, during the years, that my vision has improved. My intellect has become pure. I can feel that my burdens and bondages are being settled. I can feel lighter. it's my experience. It's my own experience where I feel more elevated, light, and I can feel that settlement being happening. So yes, when we sit with Baba, it's a wonderful experience. But it's also later that we realize that yes, my vision has improved, my intellect has become pure. I can understand Baba's knowledge better. I can understand the secrets. I can understand the depth of every point. So we really need to make effort. Baba today also in the Murli said that our aim is Manmana Bhav. So we need to make that effort to sit in Baba's remembrance in the incorporeal stage, see stage with Baba, even if it's for a couple of minutes in the day. What's more important is the concentration.
Shreya Ben, yeah, it's 7 a.m. here, so we can do traffic control.
Yes, yes.
Om Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti. अंतर मन में ज्योति जगा लो, होगा दूर अंधेरा। शिव का कर लो ध्यान, आ रहा पावन पुण्य सवेरा। से आए अपने आप को जानो, राजयोग के द्वारा अपना परम पिता पहचानो। इसी राजपथ पर चलकर पालो अपना बसेरा। तुम हो आत्मा तन से न्यारे, परमात्मा को प्यारे। दिव्य गुणों को धारण करके योगी बनो दुलारे। ज्योति बिंदु ही तोड़ेगा ये माया मोह का घेरा। अंतर मन में ज्योति जगा लो, होगा दूर अंधेरा। ओम शांति, ओम शांति, ओम शांति।
Om Shanti.
So I was saying that we need to remember Baba, and what is more important is the quality. Even if we can't sit for many, many hours, and the traffic control is so beautiful, 3 minutes, 1 minute, but complete concentration just me and Baba's rays falling on me and experiencing that deep love, just being in the company and experiencing this vibration. Like I said before, that when we have a laser operation, we only know when the vision has improved. And here also, we only know if our quality of yoga is good when our sanskars are transformed. We can sit in yoga for many hours, but if there is no transformation, if there is no transformation in sanskars, then something is really going wrong. And even with traffic control, we can always practice this, that sometimes we do get into a habit that every time when there is a traffic control, we stop, we detach ourselves, we even sit down, we're not doing anything. But our mind is still, sometimes saying, okay, now I have to do this, now I have to do that. But to make the best of that moment, just to be in that present moment, to completely detach yourself and experience Baba's rays. And the more we practice this, because Baba said in one of the Avyakt Murlis that, child, everything is going to happen so suddenly, and I will not tell you 1 second before also. And this practice of ekagrata, this practice of concentration will help you pass in that second. In that second will help you to detach yourself, put a full stop and connect with Baba and take the right decision. So yes, this time is giving us a lot of opportunities to experience Baba's yad and Baba's love. And at the same time, all of us are spending a lot of time, at least even in Bharat, and I'm sure there also, doing a lot of seva, karmana seva. A lot of vacha seva has automatically reduced, even at the centers. We're not going and doing daily classes anymore. It's more the virtual media. And when we are doing all this service at home, one thing we need to all check that can I play any part, any role with the same level of joy? That is very important, To do something that I like is easy. But can I play any part with the same kind of joy? And even when I'm doing simple tasks, when I'm cooking, when I'm cleaning, let's not do it with speed. Let me not do it to finish it. Let me do it with a lot of joy. The shift from doing things in rhythm and not with speed. To be in the moment, to be in Baba's remembrance and doing them. And when we are going to do that in that intoxication, in that Baba's remembrance, something very magical and miracles will happen. A lot of times, even in Yagya, in the olden days, if we hear that Baba would be doing ordinary tasks. Brahma Baba also would be doing ordinary tasks. He would be cleaning or he would be doing something. And the sisters would come and tell him that, Baba, this one has come to meet you. He's a VIP. And Baba would be doing something with the cow dung. And he said, yeah, let him come. And the sister can see that Baba is not dressed properly. And she would say, Baba, why don't you come to the chamber? This is a VIP. And the Baba would say, child, if you want him to come and meet me, just bring him here. Baba is not going anywhere. And Baba would be dressed so simply. Baba would be doing ordinary tasks. But Baba would be in a very elevated stage. And then those sisters with hesitation would bring those, students or VIP, whoever it was, because Baba would refuse to go to the chamber. And the moment they would see Baba, they would either get a vision or they would experience a bodiless stage. And that's when sister realized that it was not about what Baba was doing, but it was Baba's elevated stage, Baba's aura, Baba's vibration that left an impact. And I think this is the time to practice this, that when we're not doing anything, we're not on stage, we're not talking to many people, we're doing ordinary tasks. But let our all ordinary tasks be done in a very, very elevated stage. This practice is something that we have to develop. Another thing, like we were talking about dependencies on things, achievements, alcohol. But one of the dependencies that Brahmins can get into, all of us, we're all working on it, including myself, is service. And another thing that has always stayed with me was we were driving down somewhere and there was Sister Maureen of London was with me. And she was just talking about Dadi Janki. And they had happened to have a question answer session with Dadi Janki long back. This was long back. And we all know how much Dadi Janki loves to do service. Even till the end, she enjoyed meeting people, enjoyed going to mass programs and sharing with people Baba's knowledge and blessings. And she was not one to sit down. And they said that Dadi, at one end you say don't depend on service, but at the other end, even you can't live without service, If we don't do service, what will we do? Service brings so much happiness. So don't you think that service brings so much happiness? I mean, isn't it very natural for a Brahmin to be kind of dependent on service? And what Dadi said has stayed with me always, something very beautiful. Dadi said there are two things. One is capital and the other is interest. And Dadi says the happiness that you receive from service is the interest. But you cannot live your life on interest. Life is sustained on capital. The more capital you have, the more interest you will receive. And then they said, Dadi, what is the capital? And Dadi said, capital is one Baba, none other. That is the foundation of your stage. You are taking everything from Baba. And then when you are on the field of service, you cannot say that, when I did this service, I felt so happy or it brought me so much happiness. That is said, when you are on the field to do seva, it's about giving happiness. It's about radiating happiness. So you take from Baba, and then when you are there with people, you're radiating what you've taken from Baba to the people. And then you're not dependent on service, because service will not always turn out the way you have planned. Sometimes it will bring a lot of fruit. Sometimes you can put in a lot of effort, but there'll be no results. Sometimes criticism, sometimes appreciation. There's lots that happens in the service. And of course, when we do a lot of service, we do feel a lot of happiness. There's so much blessings. The blessings act as a lift for us, and we move forward in our spiritual journey. And Baba says we have to do service, but again, not to be dependent on that. It's interest. If it comes, wonderful. If in some time we're not able to contribute in some way through Vacha Seva, it's fine. Dadi Janki once said that, Baba said, you have to reach an elevated stage where let Baba use you the way he wants. You just work on becoming a good instrument. You don't even have to tell Baba, Baba, please use me for something, I am ready, use me for seva. No, an instrument will never say, use me. When it's a good instrument, even in a kitchen, you have many knives. If it's a good knife, your hand automatically goes on that. So if it's an elevated instrument, an instrument who has an elevated stage, automatically Baba will have a divine plan for that soul. So not even a desire that Baba use me as an instrument. If Baba wants to use me, wonderful. How he wants to use me, when he wants to use me, how much. And if he doesn't, then Dadi said, be content in just sitting in silence. Even if you have to just sit in silence, be content. And from there, radiate those vibrations of love and peace to the world. So another thing, another checking where not to be dependent on service. And at the same time, to become that elevated, to achieve that elevated stage, constant tension on the self. We are so used to seeing everyone, this is the habit of body consciousness. What Baba said, Swadarsan Chakra, spinning the discus of self-realization. And if you look at the Indian deities, all the deities in the temples, they have this chakra on their finger, which is always moving, and it's called Swadarsan, looking at the self. But sometimes we don't even realize from Swa it becomes Par. In the sense, from looking at ourselves, we start looking at the others. So the discus is still moving, the chakra is still moving, but now we're not looking at the self, but the others. And we don't even realize it is so subtle, because the habit of looking at others is so deep. And this is another story, because Dadi Janki was going to Madhuban, and she had to stop in Mumbai before going to Madhuban. So in the Mumbai center, she met all the sisters. This is way back. I wasn't there, but I've heard the story from sisters. And she met all the sisters, all these Samarpit um, center sisters, and she sat with them and they were having a chit chat. And this is before going to Madhuban. She just come from the London. This is a stop in between in Mumbai, and then she went to Madhuban for 45 days. And then Dadi is telling everybody, you know what? Dadi has 99% attention on self and only 1% attention on the other. Dadi is very introvert, and all the time the attention is on the self, and just 1% attention on the world or on the other. And after this, Dadi goes to Madhuban. And while returning from Madhuban, before going to London, again Dadi stays at the Mumbai center. She again meets the group. And Dadi says, I have to make a correction. Before going to Madhuban, I told you all that, you know, Dadi has 99% attention on the self and 1% outside. So Dadi has to make the correction. And Dadi says, Dadi's 100% attention is on the self. And she said, this is not the time to look at others. This is not even the time to correct others. This is a time to be in a very elevated stage and let your vibrations inspire and empower people. Not your words, but your feelings, your attitude, your drishti influence people. And that is very important, you know, to have that complete attention on the self, where through the day, in my mind, the thoughts that are coming, it's about my dialogue. I have only control over my part and my dialogue. So every time, you know, even when somebody is saying something, the mind does say, why did they say this to me? But again, bringing that attention on the self and saying, not repeating their dialogue, because I can't write their script. And again, asking myself, how do I need to respond? What is my dialogue? What is my part? How can I perform my part? You know, just like in drama, everybody is playing their part and everybody is focused on playing their part well. Even in that drama, the theater, when everybody is playing a part and somebody forgets their part, we never stop in between the drama to remind them their lines, because then it would just ruin the drama. We either prompt or we play our part so well that audience doesn't even realize that they forgot their lines. So we just have to play our part very well and not let anybody's sanskars influence us where we forget our lines. I remember Gopi Ben once asked Dadi Janki, this is just a few days back, we were listening to the class and Gopi Ben was sharing that I asked Dadi, why don't you tell me my weaknesses? Something you tell me, you know me so closely, I've lived with you for so long. And Dadi said, no, I will not tell you your weakness. Because if Dadi tells you your weakness, you will feel bad. You need to sit in silence, and silence will act as a mirror and will reflect your weakness. And then you will not feel bad and you'll be motivated to change. So we have to use that silence as a mirror to understand what is there that still needs to be changed. And how much ever time we have, we need to transform every spot and make ourselves pure, spotless, flawless. So that is another thing, not to be dependent on service. And in the end, I think I would only say that, Jayanti-Ben, just a couple of months ago, I think last February was with us, and she was saying that Yagya has gone through so many phases, and it's like we've entered the third phase now. She said the first phase was, that Vegri part and 14 years of tapasya and dadis. And she said the first phase was of simplicity, was of renunciation, was of tapasya. That was the first phase. And that made the foundation very strong. Simplicity, tapasya, renunciation. And she said then we moved to the second phase of yagya, which was a lot of expansion. Baba sent sisters to different parts of the country, to the world, and there was a lot of expansion, a lot of service in every part of the world. So she said that expansion also led to a lot of distraction. So expansion, but yes, with that also came the distraction. And now we have entered the final phase of yagya, So she said the final phase is about glorification. And the glorification is now going to happen, with which Baba says, Son shows Father. So we have to become that, where our stage can glorify Baba, can reflect Baba. Baba also in one of the Avyakt Modi said that it's, that 3M, so 3M in the sense, the first seva would be through media, then it would be through mic. So nearly around 2006, when Prakash Mani Dadi left her body, there was a huge shift in service through media. The awakening program started, and through media there was so much seva that in just 10 to 15 years, things have changed around the world, around the globe. People have come to recognize Brahma Kumaris as a good organization doing really good work, and so many people have taken benefited. So media played a very important part till today. Baba said the media and technology is fruits of your yoga. And then Baba said, mic. So a lot of souls who are very influential. Mic, when you talk in mic, it reaches many people. So a lot of influential souls will come to Baba or will come to the organization, where so many people will be influenced by them. And therefore, when they will say something, the message will reach many people. And I think we are somewhere in that part where a lot of influential souls are actually coming, recognizing the good work that the organization is doing and sharing their experiences. Many, many souls in these last couple of months and years have come into contact. And the last Baba said was Mansa. The last seva that would be left, would be Mansa. So it is media and mic and then Mansa seva. And I think we're going through a very interesting period. We're going to witness a lot of these scenes before we come to an end and a new beginning. And we'll witness those scenes, those interesting scenes. We're part of a history. But before that, we need to elevate our stage. We need to reach that place where we're not influenced by what's happening in the world. And lastly, it is also the month of May, which also reminds us all of Jagdish Bhai. I don't know how many of you have seen Jagdish Bhai, but he was one of the first Kumars to get surrendered. And Baba had so much love for Jagdish Bhai. He is one who has written so much literature for the Yajna. And I was just reading yesterday where Jagdish Bhai, in one of his experiences, was sharing that I did not really have much talent to write. I think you must have all heard the story where Jagdish Bhai was in Abu and Baba had asked them all to write something. And there was some letter that had to be written, and there were a lot of people. And Baba said, okay, you write a letter, and next day you show it to me. And in the evening, actually at night, when they were about to write, the lights went off. And everybody else in the room said, oh, Baba is Trikaldarshi. Baba would have already known that light is going to go. How can we write in darkness? So Baba will understand that we didn't write the letter. So Jagdish Bhai in his mind had that, no, God was asked me to write the letter. And if God is Trikaldarshi, then he knew the lights are going to go. And if he knew that and he still asked us to do this, then we have to find a way to write a letter. So he took out his torch to write that letter. And amazingly, the torch also went off. There weren't batteries or something. And it was very cold in Abu those days, in Mount Abu. It was extreme winters. And there was the street light he could see down on the street. So he went on the street under the street light. It was very cold. And he started to write. And he first wrote in Hindi, made corrections. And then he said, but I have to show it to God. It can't be like this. So he did again in a very neat handwriting. Then he did another letter in English, again, very neat handwriting. And finished everything. And those days, Amrit Vela would happen at 4:30 and Mama would read the Murli. So by the time he finished everything, it was already 3:30 in the morning. So there was no time for him to sleep. So he took a bath, he showered and went for the Murli. And everybody kept telling him, Baba knew there was no electricity. Baba's not going to even ask. And that's what happened in the Murli class. Baba didn't ask about the letter. So Baba said, okay, let's go for a picnic. After the Murli, so they all went for a picnic to a hill. And they were all having a good time. And after some time, Baba asked, But yesterday Baba had given a task. Has anybody written that? And Jagdish Bhai very candidly shares, he said, everybody else should be embarrassed. But in fact, I was embarrassed because I was the only one to write, and I kind of looked down, and everybody pointed their fingers at me that the Baba, Jagdish Bhai has written. And Baba then read the letter, and after that, Baba gave him a blessing. That child, Baba gives you the blessing that you will write the maximum literature of the yajna. And it was so sweet where Jagdish Bhai was sharing that he didn't have really much talent, but there was so much love for God and love for God's direction, and knowing that God has given him this task. And it wasn't that he had a skill, but he just wanted to do the task. And because what Baba looks for is an honest heart. Baba is not looking for skills and talents. That Baba can, develop in any soul, is what I feel. But what Baba is looking for is an honest heart, clean heart, pure feelings. And that's when Baba gives blessings and uses that instrument to get his task done. And this has been my understanding and my inspiration, that we just need to have a very honest heart. And then whatever skill we need, I think Baba will help us to develop that skill. And that's how, Jagdish Bhai wrote so much for the yajna. And he said that, in a way, Baba gave him such a sweet blessing that when he will write, people will read and people will give their blessings, and automatically his purushart will increase. In a short while, he'll be able to reach his elevated stage. So yeah, this month reminds us of Jagdish Bhai. And I think we have so many seniors, brothers and sisters who we can follow, so many angels who inspires us, and we'll continue to follow them. I think it's almost time. It was a wonderful opportunity to meet you all and share with you. Thank you so much. And I think together we'll continue to make this effort and glorify Baba with our stage. Om Shanti.
Shriyabin, now you can conduct the meditation. And it was really wonderful, your experience, and such a beautiful, like 3M, that everybody will pay attention on that. So you can conduct the meditation, please.
Couple of moments. Let's detach ourselves from everything and come into the awareness. How fortunate I am. The world is still looking for God. I've not only found Him, I'm combined with Him. Baba is my companion. Baba is my beloved. Under His canopy, I'm safe, secure, and protected. Baba's blessings are always with me. And now, it's time for me to cooperate, to become Baba's right hand, to share His message with all. With my vibration, feelings, words, language of eyes and smile. Even when I'm doing ordinary tasks, let me do it in such an elevated stage. Baba is reflected even through that. Let people sense that they are different. People are sensitive to feelings. But my feelings be so pure and elevated that whoever comes in contact with me experiences bliss. And in a moment, just be with Baba. Experience his love and thank him. Thank him from the bottom of your heart. Purify my intellect and choose me for his elevated task. Om Shanti.